Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is the week 31, July the 26th through August the 1st weekly wrap up. Alright, happy birthday month to me. It's the month of August. Yes, this is all about last week, which was the last month of July. Goodbye, July. Goodbye. Oh, okay. So, sorry for the not so fresh face. This morning, I got up super early to come record this video, but then I ended up sitting on my toilet for like an hour. Just scrolling through my Twitter feed and seeing what's going on, seeing if there's anything fun to talk about, which there isn't, so I'm just not gonna, dwell on that. But then I checked on my comments and responded to a whole bunch of people of comments that I got this week. This week has been pretty uneventful for me. In the life section, the kid went to summer camp and I got lots of reading done. I got lots of videoing done. Got lots of clips taped is what I'm saying. Got my nails done. Yes. I don't know if you can, I think this is the warm color right now. I think it's shifting. It's cold down here in my room, like always. But they're shifting. I'll insert a picture there. There's the warm and the cold color. Love this like combination. I was actually going for like a blue, but it ended up turning out to be like a purple and a violet, and I'm still really loving them. Yes. And then I found out that my nail tech is on Instagram, so I will be tagging her. Yes, because I have to give her shout outs and props because I love what she does to my nails. Love it. I got a lot of reading done last week. I ended up reading 10 books, so let's just get into it because I kind of want to get this done and then get some more videos edited, and I gotta write up my end of July video to tell you guys all that I read and all the things. I will say that this month's blackout section is gonna be large. I'm just warning y'all ahead of time. It's gonna be a large, so large. Yeah. So, books that I read last week. Starting off the week, I read Frozen Sector, which is part of the Zombie Year 2099 collection by Anna Edwards. This is a paranormal romance. Oh my goodness. I gave it 4.25 stars. I gave it 3 Steam fans. I read this as an ebook. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. It's post-apocalyptic, and there are zombies in this book, and y'all know I probably wouldn't usually read about zombies and scary shit like that, but this whole series has got me so interested in like what this post-apocalyptic world with zombies, because these zombies are flipping crazy. This I would consider book number 1. It gives sort of the backstory about how the earth and world has become this post-apocalyptic zombie thing going on, and it gives some history to it. So I've read other books in this collection, so I've been reading out of order, but this one really gave some perspective. And we have our characters Thea and Meghan, and they're fucking elves. They're elves, guys. Oh my god. It blew my mind. I mean, I loved the cover. The cover was bomb. I was like, where are we going with this? And you guys know I don't read synopses, so I had no clue that this was set in the North, like on the North Pole. Which, yes, elves, Santa. Woo! This story is wild, you guys. So, Fea and Meghan are fated mates. They're supposed to be together. They were betrothed to each other, but then the zombie apocalypse happened, and they were separated. Fea ends up getting taken as a prisoner, and Meghan is sold off to this like tribe of wolves and shifters down in Mexico. There's a whole bunch of content warning for enslavement, abuse, demeaning. There's some vague rape scenes on page. They're not vulgar in any way. It sets up the context of the story, so be aware of that. There is cannibalism, and they are stripped of their magic. So that's not really a content warning, the whole stripped of their magic. It just plays into the story. But I really enjoyed it, and I yes, found it very entertaining. The next book that I read was Shadowlands Sector, which I think this is actually like book number 5 or 6, or maybe, I don't know where it goes in the collection, but it's part of the Zombie Year 2099 collection as well. This one was written by Mila Young, and I had never read her before. I'm placing it in Paranormal Romance. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I read this as an ebook. Post-apocalyptic zombiness. Yes. Yes. So I knew about the wolf packs and stuff like that in this new post-apocalyptic world, right? In Zombie Year 2099, because I read Winter's Arrow and I read Andor Sector by Alexei C. Foss, right? So these are the Ash Wolves. Now, I am not a huge fan of reverse harem. They normally don't do it for me. Like, normally really don't do it for me. And in many ways, I just think when I hear reverse harem, I think, you know, menage or orgy or, you know, things like that, right? That's in my mind. That's where I go when I think of that. This one really felt like, I guess, a reverse menage, or how I've heard people talk about reverse menages, where it's the female character has an attraction to many different male characters for different reasons, and there's no real animosity between the men and things like that. They work together, but they don't necessarily share her. And it's all based on what her wants and wills are. So we have Mira, who is a mix of something. She has been suppressing her wolf for a long time, pretty much all of her life. She's never shifted before, but she knows that she has that bloodline. She just doesn't know how it's going to manifest, and her mother has her really scared of the fact that if she lets it manifest, bad things can happen, right? So when she grows up and she ends up getting captured by the Ash Wolves, she was supposed to be on this transport to Andor Sector, but she ended up getting off the plane and hiding out in the woods of the sector, right? So Deucin, Lucian, and Boardley, and then you have Mad, Mad. All of them are Ash Wolves, and they're all alphas, and they all sort of work together. Deucin is actually the alpha, the main alpha, and then you have the other ones that are like his second, third, and fourth, right? So, yeah. Loads of fun in this one. This one does leave on a cliffhanger, and I was like, what? Why? But the good thing is that Shadowlands book number 2 is already out. It just came out, as a matter of fact, so I'm really excited to get into that one. You might hear about that one later on. Then I read Perfect Chaos by Jodi Ellen Malpas. I am placing this in contemporary. I actually DNF this book at 35%. I just could not take it any longer. I do give it 2 Steam fans because there was some tension and some sexual chemistry that was going on there, but I listened to it as an audiobook. But I couldn't take it anymore. So we have Tyler, who is a straight up man whore. And he ends up finding Lainey, I think her name is Lainey, who is the new hire for his partner in this firm that they have. And they find each other attractive, but both of them are whores. She's getting it where she's getting it, which is all good. He's getting it where he's getting it, which is all good. You know, people can get it where they want to get it. But I didn't feel any connection to either one of these characters. I was pretty annoyed with them because they literally lived in the bedroom and it was all about sex. All about sex. And it was just... it wasn't working for me. It didn't work for me. And then the male narrator, I don't know, maybe that's what turned me off, but he was just really douchey. Just douchey. I couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't take it. I might pick this one up and read it later on, but I will not be listening to the audiobook ever again because it was just that horrible. And it hurts my heart to say that I didn't like a Jodi Ellen Malpas book, but this one wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It didn't work for me at all. Whatsoever. It was a huge miss. It was perfect chaos. The next book that I read was A Teacher, which is Voyeur number 6 by Fiona Cole. I placed this in dark romance. I give this book 5 stars. I give it 4.25 Steam fans because it wasn't completely steamy. I mean, it wasn't like on fire from start to finish. I mean, it started off real hot and fiery. But there's some serious topics in here, so it brought the steam level down a little bit. I listened to this on audiobook. This is an age gap romance. There is content warning for sex trafficking discussion within this story. Let's see, what else? Self-doubt, dealing with self-guilt, and on both of our characters' sides, there's suicide, or talk about suicide, the topic of suicide. So there's lots of things that make it sort of dark, but at the same time, there's so much heart in this. So let me tell you about these characters, right? So we have Hannah, who is a survivor, and we have Daniel, who is the half owner of Voyeur. And if you've read anything about the series, you know that Daniel is really sort of like closed off, and he loves Voyeur. He's a part owner in it, and he's like one of the creators. You love this character before you actually find out his story. And then once you find out Hannah's full story and Daniel's full story and the way that they help each other, and it was just so it was swoony, and it hurt my heart. And once I got to the end of it, and it was just bittersweet that this is probably the last book in the Voyeur series, and just had my heart just so much. So loved this journey that ended up manifesting in this book, and finding these 2 characters, and these 2 characters finding each other, and it was just so much. It was so much, so emotional and sweet and beautiful and sexy and fiery, and just there's so many words that I could say, but I can't say them because then I would be spoiling it, and I don't want to do that. I want you to go into this book and know that it's emotional, but it's also sexy and fun and steamy, and just yes. So then I picked up Slow Burn Cowboy, Copper Ridge number 7, but Donnelly's number 1 by Maisey Yates. I'm placing this in contemporary, and I DNF this book as well at 35%. I give it 1 Steam fan. It was not steamy at all whatsoever. I received a paperback copy of this. You guys might have seen this cover in my eBay book mystery box, what have you. I was gonna do a full like secret project with that, but this was supposed to be the safe book out of it. I had read Maisey Yates before and enjoyed that story that I read from her. And I was like, okay, I should be good with, no. I don't know if, I don't know what happened. I have no clue what happened in between these books or how they were written or whatever, but this book annoyed the shit out of me. Oh, so this book follows Finn and it follows Lane, and it is majorly impacted by the talk of gender roles. Oh my goodness. From start to finish, or start to where I DNF'd it because I just could not take it anymore. Finn was this like manly guy that's a cowboy, and he has this farm that he inherits, but at the same time his grandfather that, you know, willed it to him, he ends up willing it to his like brothers and half brothers, and then they all move in. And that was the other thing, there were too many goddamn characters in this book. And then you have this like flighty chick that's like, oh, I'm gonna cook and I'm gonna clean for you because that's the woman's job, and I'm here to take care of you, and we're best friends, but we're more like husband and wife without the fucking benefits. Yeah, no, I couldn't take it. Like, she legit, Lane, the character, legit called Finn at every little thing that she should have been able to do her damn self. She was a fucking business owner, and she's calling him, talking about, oh my god, there was a rat that scurried across my floor in my business, and I need you to come catch the mouse or the rats. I work around food all day, Finn. You should know, and you should come catch this rat for me. But you didn't call your friends, and you didn't call the exterminator. No, boo. Nope. Had to cut it off. Couldn't do it. Then I read The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary. I am placing this in contemporary. I give it 4.5 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. I listened to this as an audiobook, and I was a little leery about this. This book got a whole bunch of hype when it first came out. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like this or not. Or I don't want to have like super high expectations, because so many people on BookTube were like, it's the bomb. It's the best. It's so good. So I was like really like tiptoeing into this one. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. But then I started listening to this audiobook, and it was just the perfect, like, it was so perfect. It was just so good. It was so good. So good. So the premise behind it is that we have Tiffy, who just breaks up with her boyfriend. Well, not really just breaks up with him, because she's been living in his house, and then all of a sudden he's like, yo, you need to get out. So she is kind of left homeless and is like, okay, I need to go find somewhere to live. And she's a book editor, and she's just like really kind of quirky and weird and things like that. So she finds this ad, and she ends up bed sharing with this guy named Leon. He works the night shift. She works during the day. So they're sharing a bed, an actual bed, sharing. They have sides of the bed and everything like that. They mainly talk through notes and stuff like that to get to know each other. This really becomes a friends to lovers story. And then there's some other aspects that go along with it. And I was just really here for it. There is content warning for abuse, for judicial injustice within the court systems. And then what else? There's something else. Oh, stalker possible issues and bad relationships from the past. So we deal with all of that in there. And I just really felt for this story. I kind of want a side story to come out from this one, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't want to give away whose side story I want, but there is a side story that I want. I really enjoyed the narration in this. It is dually narrated, and the two narrators did an amazing job at sort of matching their tones and matching the feeling of the characters, so that it seemed as if it was very coherent as the story went along. Even when they had to sort of voice and put into perspective the opposite person's like words, what have you, so there was conversation. I really enjoyed that. The one thing that kind of threw me out was that there are the notes are kind of read, and there are some phone calls that are given, and it gives like this weird, I think it's the production of the audiobook, and they did this weird sort of phone call-y sort of kind of pulled away sound to it, so it sounded like you were on the phone with that person and they were having this conversation and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of weird, but in the same way it was kind of awesome because it gave you that phone call sort of feel like, okay, I'm actually on the phone with this character and we're actually having this dialogue. So I really enjoyed that. The next book that I finished was She's Faking It by Kristin Rockaway. I place this in women's fiction. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 1 Steam fan. I read this as an ARC through NetGalley. I do believe it's out already, so you can go check it out. This book follows Bree, who is having a hard time. Just straight up having a hard time. She loves where she lives, but it's super expensive to live where she lives, and she lives in this like hovel where if you plug too many things in, it could like burn her house down type thing. And her boyfriend left her to go find himself, but he's this rich guy and he really isn't trying to find it. He's really flaky and into drugs and stuff like that. So there is content warning for that. There's drug use, or talks of drug use, douchebag boyfriend, secrets, grief, privilege. Oh my goodness. So that is why this rating is the way that it is, because the beginning part of this story really talks and delves into white privilege, privilege overall, and it really talks about social media and getting into social media influencing and things of that nature. Bree's sister is really sort of has been taking care of Bree since the death of their mother. So you're hearing about how the two of them are dealing with that aspect, that grief, throughout the story, and how they're dealing with it together, which is why I place it in women's fiction, because the story really does revolve around Bree and her floundering and her finding herself and her relationship with her sister. I'm really glad that I let it play out, even though I was quite annoyed with Bree and the privilege and sort of the things that were going on and the sort of things, her thought process throughout the story, but I'm really glad that I let it play out. Now you have a guy named Trey who is a surfer who has pretty much cut himself off of social media because of some things that has happened to him, and when all of that stuff sort of comes into light, they deal with, their sort of conflict there as well. I'm not remembering that they had a happily ever after, which is why I'm placing it more in women's fiction than as a romance, because yes, Bree and Trey have like this like connection and they sort of get together. I think they sort of get together because they deal with a conflict, but it wasn't the main part of the story. The main part of the story is finding out who Bree is, what she goes through, and how she overcomes it, and the things that she learns along the way, which was super insightful, especially since I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, so it was really, really interesting to hear you know, sort of the things that go on within social media, be it Instagram or YouTube, the purchasing of followers and the purchasing of subscribers and all of that sort of, you know, placed in there. It was very delightful. Like I said, I'm really glad that I let the story play out, and I really ended up enjoying Bree's journey throughout it. Yes. I then picked up Wrapped in My Wife by Alexa Riley. I needed a little something just to get me over, just a quick little novella, right? And this is an erotic novella. I give it 4 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. Read it as an ebook. And, yes, possessive, alpha, like, stalkerish kind of guy. He's married to this woman. We have Dylan and Emily. Emily is a mom. She loves her husband loves her, and her twins, their kids, end up going to school. So she's now like, what am I supposed to do with my life? So she goes out and gets a job. Well, Dylan is like, excuse me, you don't have to get a job because I make enough money for us. I work really, really hard to make sure that you have the life that you need. And she's like, well, you know, there's more than what I have here. And I need to feel something more. So he ends up, you know, not really allowing, because that's weird. He ends up, no, let me backtrack. Emily gets a job. She gets a job, she starts working, and the you know, doing her thing. Dylan is like, I love my wife, and I just need to let her do her thing and find where she needs to go, but at the same time, I'm gonna have hands on and eyes on. Alpha, 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 alpha. Just possessive alpha guy. Yeah. Yeah. It's not meant to have, like, social commentary to it. Just go into it, enjoy the possessiveness of this husband to this wife. That's all I'm going to say about it. The next book that I finished was Forced by Renee Rose. This is an erotic novella. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it on the podcast of Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. And this is about Mariana. She and her sister end up going to this BDSM club for a sort of volunteer night, and Mariana ends up meeting Victor. Victor is a dom, and Mariana is like, yo sis, I'm going with you to help protect you, but at the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and participate and see what's going on. So this is like a really self-discovery sort of story, and it was very interesting to sort of see how it all played out. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. It's short, so don't go in thinking you're gonna get all of the aspects that are needed for a fully fleshed out BDSM story, like long discussions about consent and, you know, what's right and all the, you know, the scenes and stuff like that. It's just a little snippet of this woman finding what she may or may not like within a BDSM story or club. That's what I was going for. Then the final book that I finished last week, which I finished late last night, is Flock, which is a Ravenhood #1. It's a duet by Kate Stewart. I am still trying to figure out where I need to put this as a category. Do I place it as a romantic suspense, or do I place it as a erotic suspense romance? I don't know exactly, because yeah, I'm giving this book 4.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read this as an ARC. It released last week, and whew, I stayed up late last night, and was like, I'm still mind boggled by what I read. I still have no real clue what I read. There is a content warning for drug use, alcoholism, family secrets, small town sort of rumors and secrets and things like that. So we have Cecilia, who is this young woman who was raised by a single mother, but mom ends up turning towards the bottle, and in between her senior year, well, she finishes her high school year, and she moves in with this estranged dad that she has, who is like uber rich. He owns like pretty much the town and things like that, and she moves in with him during sort of that summer before she starts college, and she ends up making a deal with him to stay with him so that she can become the heir to his fortune. And you kind of get to see the dynamic between them, but in the place that she ends up working so that she can get her money and get the status or whatever, he makes her work at the factory that he owns, and she starts to see some things. On the day she goes in for orientation, she meets this guy named Sean, and he has sort of this bad boy persona, and in that she goes ahead and takes a chance and gets to know Sean, and turn gets to know Dominic and the people that they kind of run with, and then there's mystery. There's lots of secrets and things that end up happening, and I was just like, oof, oof, what am I reading? What is going on? So that brings me to the books that I am currently reading, guys. Oh my goodness. So I have an art copy of Exodus. It actually went live early, so if you thought Flock was interesting, you can get both books already. And yes, I will be finishing Exodus this week, so that by Kate Stewart, by the way, so that I can find out what the hell is going on, because I kind of need to know. Need to know what is going on. I don't know what's going on, right? Then I am also reading Full Measures by Rebecca Yarros. I believe this is book number 1 in the Flight and Glory series. If I misspoke, I will put the actual book that's supposed to be up here for the Flight and Glory series. I'm starting with book number 1 and reading those. And then I also have an art copy of That Swoony Feeling by Meghan Quinn. This is the last book in the Getting Lucky series. I like to call it the Port Snow series because all of the brothers are living in Port Snow, even though they have moved out, but the story sort of revolves around Port Snow and this family of brothers that lives there. So that's what I'm gonna be reading, those books this week. Yes. So, whew, that was a long one. I had lots of things to say, obviously. Let me know down in the comment section if you have read any of these books or if any of them sound interesting to you, what your thoughts are on them. And I think that's it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. I have my PayPal and my Ko-fi links down there, so if you guys feel like you want to give a donation and you think this video is good and worth a couple extra dollars besides the AdSense, because those really don't add up to very much, you know, you can do that down there. Also, if you don't have the funds to give monetarily, I have my Amazon wish list down there, and you guys are freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. Just gonna say that right now. I have received a few things from that wish list, and I thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Awesome. So awesome. And thank you. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.